Hi, hello. My name's Sophia Negron, and today I'm going to be giving you guys the summary of the book Tuned In and Fired Up by Sam Intrator. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background for this book. Sam Intrator was previously a high school teacher in Brooklyn, New York. He had a class one day that students were just ready to learn, ready to be engaged, wanting to have the conversation. And he went on to try and figure out how to create that again. And that is where he stumbled across Mr. Quinn's class, where Mr. Quinn had curated, I think, the best um, or the ideal classroom environment. So here are some of the steps that he created um, the ideal classroom with. Step number one, changing the scene for students. So he had a lesson planned out where he had students actually go outside and observe the land around them and write about it. While at first the students thought it was silly, a lot of them afterwards, when they really got into it and started writing, they really got into it, and the writing that they made was very beautiful. So I think students often just sit in the same classroom all year. They don't do anything. They kind of just sit there in the same classroom the entire year. So to get them to like go outside, changing the scene for them actually would probably make them more likely to want to engage. Getting them, even if you can't leave the classroom, getting them to stand up too, instead of just sitting down all day. Step number two, giving students a platform to share experiences. One of the parts in the book which I found very heartfelt was where a student got a chance to teach the class, and during his teaching, he opened up about one of his experiences of his dad going to jail, and I think this brought the classroom together. I think the classroom respected not only the teacher but also one another more than before the lesson. Um, with students talking about their personal experiences and their personal lives, I think connecting the content to their personal lives, if you can find a way, like I feel like it might be it not to say easier with like a subject like history or English, but if you can find a way to connect the content to a student's life, I think they're more likely to want to engage. Step number four, allowing students to see you as a person. Many students just see the teacher as an authority figure, someone that just talks to them all day and teaches them. But Mr. Quinn, one day had apologized to his students because he was unorganized, not caught up with the content, and the students felt like he was equal to them, like because they never had a teacher apologize to them before, and I think this made them respect him a little more than before. Step number five, arranging the desks. I know it sounds silly, but through personal experience, I've done mentoring over the summer with students, and instead of just having all the desk facing forward, I think having them, for example, like in a circle, that's what I would do. I think students see each other face to face and they're not just talking to the back of heads. In the book, he kind of says it's like an airport, a crowded airport. I kind of put it in like they're kind of packed like sardines into a classroom. So when you're writing about something personal, like in the book this happened, when you're writing about something personal, students are probably less likely to want to write because they feel like everybody can see what they're writing. But giving them a little more personal space, such as having a circle of desks, might make them more likely to want to write about something personal. Step number six, giving students the floor. Um, we spend as teachers a majority of the time talking. So this gives students very little time to actually speak during the duration of class. I think it's important to give students their time to speak because it can give them time to ask questions, give their perspective, give their voice, and it gives them the ability to participate. I think if we don't give them the time to participate, they're probably going to think if I speak now, I'm probably going to get shut down. Or if I raise my hand, maybe the teacher won't, let me ask the question. I'll have to ask later. I think it's important to let them be able to use their voice and know that their voice matters in the classroom. Step number seven, trying a new way to teach. This is a quick little short section, but students are kind of used to the same old script that we all use to teach. But Mr. Quinn tries to do stuff with students. While he might be initially met with resistance with the students, I think after in the book they say after a couple of the popular kids try it or the more well-known students try it, everybody else is going to try it. And then they'll realize, maybe this isn't so bad. Step number eight, believing in your students. Um, I think obviously we believe in our students, but I think sometimes teachers tend to, I don't want to say give up, but give up on their students that don't believe in themselves anymore or just don't even try. I think if you just really try and, I don't know, give them the belief that yes, everybody else might not think that you got it, but I believe in you. I think you can try it. I think really understanding your students, understanding where they're coming from, I think that is very important. I think that's exactly what Mr. Quinn does with his students. Step number 9, strong topic conversations. I think students, and I'll say this from my personal perspective as a previous high school student, students want to have the heavy subject conversations. They want to talk about stuff like that. It's so taboo. They don't get the opportunity to speak about it, especially in a school setting. So giving them the time to talk about stuff that they care about that affects them, I think is really important. It shows them that their voice is very important. And also student engagement. I think students are definitely gonna want to engage more when it's a topic that concerns them. And even in the book, they had topics about racism, and students would leave the class and even continue the conversation with their friends about what they learned in class. So I think even if it might seem difficult to have the strong topic conversations, or if you're too scared to, it's important to because that's what students really care about. Step number 10, it's a very small section, but sounding too academic. I think just giving students, I think material that is too academic for them, like primary sources, and just having them read it, they're not gonna want to read it. They're not gonna understand it. Um, and they're just not gonna care. So to give them stuff that it might sound a little funny, or it's more like less formal than what you might want to assign them, that's the stuff that they're gonna be more interested in reading. I think you can gradually get to the point where you're giving them, more sources that may be a little more on the academic side, but you need to start small. You cannot start off strong. Um, and lastly, beyond the curriculum, a lot of teachers stay strict to the curriculum. They don't, they just teach by the book solely. They just give tests and homework, and that's it. And a lot of students do not like this. Students in Mr. Quinn's class saw the effort that he put into not just following the curriculum, but finding fun and like different ways to get them like interested into learning. I think they were very grateful for that. And I think your students will feel grateful that you took the time and effort to find new ways for them to learn. That wasn't just by reading a whole textbook, by taking 3 quizzes in 1 week. I think it's important for you to get creative for your students. And those are the steps that I took out from this book. I think if you are planning on being a future educator, I think you should absolutely read this book. I think this really gives you, it might not be the perfect classroom, but I think it gives you the steps that you can take to just creating like that ideal classroom to make students comfortable, make students want to learn. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you.